Well, it's all very well. I mean, I pushed the button and then it didn't do anything.
I thought you had all this ready.
So did
Oh,
I mean, I pushed the button and then we didn't go live. I turned the microphones on and everything, and then
Jesus.
it just didn't
Never,
transpire in the way that it should have done.
never
Right. Good evening.
go. Hey.
Welcome aboard for a bit of roadmap Q&A action here on the 29th of September, which is a date that for some reason I'm remembering. Hello, Sam and Sidekick. Nice. Good. Joining me as ever is Adam, who is the... What are you a lead producer or are you just a regular old producer?
I'm a producer at the moment. Yeah.
All right.
I'm
At the
quite
moment.
comfy.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Ah, it's good that you dropped that in. Only a producer right now. But so Adam is the producer on the preservation crew. And his role is to basically look after everything after it's been released.
Yes. And everything gets bigger every day.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, Preserved Collection is basically creating a tsunami of additional things for you to pay attention to.
I'm learning to surf, basically.
Yeah. So there's a lot to go on, but we are coming up on we're rapidly approaching the end of Preserved Collection being fully released.
Yes. And I'm excited about that because actually this is a hurdle that I want to get past so that we can get back to really what we should be doing already. But first of all, we have to get all of the routes and trains back out to Train Sim 2.
That's right, Train Sim World 2. Train Sim World 2. Don't get the name of the game wrong. They'll never let you off the hook for that. What we're going to do this evening, we'll run through a bit of today's roadmap, and we'll have some general discussion based on exactly what's going on and where the progress is happening. We'll take answers from the chat, but the chat can get a little bit lively in these. So if we miss your question, please do stick it up on the forums, and we'll probably try and get you an answer on there instead.
Yeah, I am watching the roadmap 29th September forum thread as well. So if you've got a question, you can post it there as well.
That's a good place to put it. Good place to put it. Let's go for there we go. This is a difficult. I'll start you with an easy, difficult one. All right. So Cement Circle. We've now released the update that deals with it. Well, actually, we released it a while ago now, but we didn't reference it. That's the reason that it's included in the roadmap this time, because we didn't reference it when it was actually fixed. Are we going to do it in 2020?
So you never like us to have aspirations and be a complete yes or no. I want it fixed. It's fixed. It's out of my hands. It's with another team to actually make it fixed. So
yeah,
and we've got the steam, we've got the momentum. We're trying to move parts of the business at the moment.
So effectively, it's now that we've done the fix, it's easy to replicate in the previous game. But what is complicated is any kind of update at all. And those who've been through our last spate of updates have observed how sometimes it is a lot more complicated than it looks. So scheduling the time to make sure that's properly delivered is tricky, not least of all because we have to get QA time in order to check these things before we roll them out. So the hope is still to be able to release them for TSW 2020, but at the moment we've nothing concrete for you. So the Mars platting fix would fall under that as well, and therefore we'd try and combine both of those into a single update. Yes, the gameplay in the background is pre-recorded. This is me driving a Dosto a little bit later on in the rain. Yeah, they are. There you go. I have Rapid Transit on disc. This is Tintin 57. Will there be any issues claiming it on Thursday? Do you not know the answer to this one? This is my territory more than yours.
I was going to say yes, because that is a retail question. So yeah, if you.
If you own Rapid Transit on disc, please go to the Dovetail forums, stickied at the top of both the PlayStation and Xbox forums. Is directions for how you can claim stuff if you have it on disc. Basically, you've got to go and get in touch with tech support. It will take a day up to 3 days for that to come back through, but it will get you rolling very, very quickly. As soon as they get to you, it really depends how many people come through at once, and then they turn those around quite quickly. Let's talk Isle of Wight. We're going to get loads of Isle of Wight questions. How's it doing? Is it coming along? Have you seen it?
Yes, I have. I've been playing it. I'm really enjoying it. I don't want to really give away too much, but I'm really liking the little jobs and tasks that you have to do going around the route. I have great memories of this route as well. I was part of the team that brought it when we built it in the original Train Sim Classic, and it really brings back some great memories. It's a great little train. It's quite a different experience to a lot of the stuff that you can play in Train Sim World 2. It's a very small little underground train. And it's very clunky and very rough riding. But yeah,
Rather like
I really
myself.
like it. It's very close now. Yeah, it's really good. It's coming along.
Yeah, so it's coming along soon. I think it's still sitting in next release, isn't it? Is it sitting in next arrival? Yeah, so it's...
Yeah, Rivet Games have still got a few things that we're feeding back and we're getting them to improve. So yeah.
Yeah, so as you've probably noticed already, the movement of things through the roadmap is not a predictable... There's no way to predict what is going to move and what isn't going to move. Our basic aim is to give you an indication that things are moving along every time it moves into the next bracket. So Isle of Wight sitting in next release basically just means it's the next add-on that is going to be released. But asking how long that is exactly is rather like asking how long a piece of string is. Because there are multiple QA passes that need doing, then it needs queuing up and all of that kind of business. So Isle of Wight will still be your next release, but we don't have a date for you right now. Is there a link to the roadmap? The roadmap link is in the description for this here stream. Or it should be, if any of the systems worked effectively. Yeah.
So it's on the Dovetail Games forums.
Go to trainsimworld.com and click roadmap. Yeah. There you go. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Is there going to be a disc release for Train Sim World 2? I believe it's coming at the start of November.
Yeah, and actually I've got my dibs in there as well. I want a disc. I've had a disc release for every single one that we've had. So yeah, I'm waiting for that disc as well.
Okay, so yes is the answer, and I believe it's coming at the start of November. I can't remember what the date is that we've talked about so far. There we go. Any news about the West Coast Mainline South fix for Train Sim 2021? Go to the Train Sim 2021 forum, if we've bothered to rename it. Otherwise, it'll be the Train Sim 2020 forum. And look at the sticky post there. There is news. I've provided multiple updates in that one. Yeah,
there'll be a different stream for that, maybe, yeah.
But steady on. You just promised that we'd do it. Well, actually, we probably will do it.
Well, no, I said, is there a different stream for that?
There will probably be a stream. The second that comes out, we'd love to then show it back off again to see how it's actually changed, how it's changed. I know this is a Train Sim World stream, but you know what? You don't often get the chance just to have the opportunity to ask questions. So if we have answers, we'll ask them. Right.
One from Chewbacca that keeps coming up. Is there a price tag for the Isle of Wight? Our standard pricing policy will probably apply. But that isn't something we'll announce on here.
Okay. Oh, that's a good one. Zavpin asks, how big is the preservation crew now?
Unfortunately, we're still only 3.
Okay.
I have a technical guy working for us. I have an artist working for me and myself. And
when you say a technical guy, what does technical guy do?
Well, he delves into the audio mixing, which I think is going to come up later. He is also playing with the physics and the adhesion aspects, and he's fixing a few niggling issues that we wanted to get in before some of the preservation stuff is released,
right?
At least on its first round. We didn't promise we would do anything, but if we've had the time and it's already in an area that is being touched, then I've asked if we can get a few things in here and there. So yeah, he's really going under the hood with the spanners.
Okay, good. I'm seeing quite a few questions coming up about forthcoming add-ons. So if you're asking about Southeast High Speed and other stuff that we've got in progress, we're not going to talk about any of those in any depth at all. This is not the stream where we do that. This is literally a what's coming up, what are we working on fix-wise, and kind of ongoing development. When we're talking about routes that are coming up, they'll probably get their own individual streams where we show off lots of glossy stuff. But this is the least glossy,
More of a
least glossy stream that we do. So that's kind of where we're going with that. Good. Okay, right. So we've got a couple of fixes that have rolled out today. Obviously, Cement Circle came out previously. Now these came from the core team rather than the Prez crew.
Yes, yeah, which actually is something I'm still trying to get a bit of a handle on, just to make sure that we're centralizing all the information so that we can make the messages as clear as possible to everyone. But yeah, obviously in some of the updates that happen, the main development team have been back and resolved a few things that have been fed back.
Right. So the fixes that are going on in here, because at the moment, while the preserved collection is still being put together, the preservation crew is being amplified by some of the core team as well. So so we get fixes coming in from multiple directions. So actually, you're not the right person to talk to about some of these. Have you got the list in front of you?
The Long Island stuff. No, I've been on quite a few different pieces of trains and routes. So,
well, in which case, let's talk about. What have you been doing, Adam? What's been beavering away in your action item list for the last couple of weeks?
So I was all over the 182 and Rapid Transit and Main Specibahn. So that's why that's now in the next arrival. So that is mostly the work that I've been doing, is putting in the scenario designer compatibility, and then resolving any language issues that were coming back in the various languages that we support.
Right.
And then much more recently, I've been focused on the Great Western Express and West Somerset Railway and the Class 33 and 52 that also come with those. So what we've been doing is looking at how people are using the scenario designer, what kinds of things they want to do, what kinds of things they're having issues with, and then trying to build that into each of the releases as they go forward. So I've actually been having great fun with different paths and options running up and down the Great Western Express, and the different kinds of train setups. So having the HST, where you can drive it with the first class carriages behind you or the first class carriages at the other end of the train. So whether you're driving country or city first, as it were, and giving different variety to the container train that is also on Great Western Express.
Yeah.
So this is the Class 66 and FKA wagons.
Right, okay. So, I mean, presumably you spend a fair chunk of your time, if you're working on the scenario planner, of throwing random stuff down as part of development to see how that works with the different stopping zones that you've got. So, pretty much... where am I going with my question? All right, I want to run a big fat ICE down everything, right? I do. I want to rip it down the whole lot. And finding stations that are actually long enough to do that is sometimes few and far between. So is there anything that you're doing to ensure that you can run the longest of the longest of consists down these routes, or is it you simply just measure up, and if you can't run it, you can't run it?
Well, the first round that we're doing is more working with the route as it is. We're not trying to make any adjustments. If something is literally broken and it doesn't work at all, then we'll go in and fix that. But we're not going in and adjusting the lengths of markers or platforms or sidings or anything. So it's only the route as is. However, I am looking for that stuff. So when it comes to, I expect a freight train to run from here, or what kind of freight trains will people... before we even go into the off the rails part of the designer, what is the size of trains that people want to run? So I'm imagining that people want to take a lot of the trains on West Somerset, so the 47, the 52, the 33, and run heritage trains down Great Western Express. So I'm looking at what platforms would they want to use, what kind of size trains, and then making sure the right markers are available. So yeah.
Right.
And then maybe at a later date, if we're finding that some aspects are a bit of a limitation, then we can look at that as a later update, potentially. No promises at all there. But at the moment, we're just working with as the route stands.
Yeah. No, I mean, a question came up in the chat a moment ago, and it's pertinent to the what we're talking about here. This is Mark TCRS. It wasn't even a question; it was a statement. But I'm going to treat it like a question because there's an answer. Is that he was really surprised that there weren't many bug fixes in this update. Now, why is it that we're not seeing a massive number of bug fixes coming through at the moment?
Because certainly the preservation crew is entirely focused on just getting all the routes and trains back out for Train Sim 2. Train Sim World 2! Train Sim World 2!
Thank you!
So, that is one of the reasons why I'm actually interested in getting all this stuff completed and then being able to be solely focused on assisting with feedback. Because at the moment, not enough time is being able to spend on bug fixes and feedback that we're getting. So.
Right, and I mean, it's like we said at the start, is that, you know, we're mad keen to get the whole of preserved collection out, because then you can properly turn your attention to then improvements and upgrades
absolutely.
And that kind of thing.
And
so,
there is some having to hold ourselves back because there is an awful lot of motivation to try and get fixes in, as soon as the preserved collection comes out. And actually, the desire at the moment is just to make sure that everyone has the routes and trains that they own and that they have available, and then we'll worry about those extra things. So we're really having to find a fine balance. It is about getting the preserved collection out to everyone, and then we will go back and do more. So just because it's been released doesn't mean we're not going to look at it again.
And that covers the sound as well, right? Because we've had quite a few reports of the sound mix in TSW2 is slightly different than it was in TSW 2020, and in some cases not as good.
And that is unfortunate, because definitely my techie guy that has been doing these upgrades has been very focused on that, and I know that he has put a lot of work into the HST, the 166, and the 66 from Great Western Express, because the audio was very below par for what we want there. So yeah, audio has been something that we've been trying to address, but the move from 416 to 423 in the underlying engine.
That's Unreal Engine update there.
Yes, moving from Train Sim World 2020 to Train Sim World 2 has impacted the audio, and we need to do things slightly differently. So we're doing as much as we can to make sure that isn't impacted in the transition, but we're always reading the feedback, we're always looking for what people are telling us, and we will go back and improve things further if it needs be.
You've just had Rob say the Tsw2 sound is miles better, please don't ruin it. We'll take your lead on this one. So where you've reported that the sound is off, that will go into a list of things that we can then go look at. But that's going to come from you. If nobody's complaining about a particular sound set that we're using, then we won't go and deal with it. We won't go do anything at all. So anytime you're feeding back on sound, being specific about it is quite important. I don't just say all the sound's rubbish, because we're not going to do all the sound. The more specific you can be, the more helpful it is. Right, now, there was one item on this list that's been stuck there for a while, and it's Sandpatch Grade, the What's It America? Powering, Driving, Throwing America.
Powering America Part 1.
Powering America Part 1. What's going on with that?
So, from what I've found out so far is that we're waiting for an American-based release to include that with. Unfortunately, it seems like Sandpatch, or some of the American content, the American focus, has moved away, and Sandpatch has been carried with it. And what? I'm pushing very hard.
I don't understand any of what you're saying.
Too abstract.
Yeah.
it's sitting there. It's been ready, and I can't seem to get it on the release list. So again, it's one of those things where I've done the work, and it's waiting on the release people.
And I think that sets us up for, maybe a little bit more visibility over why the release system internally is incredibly complicated. Would be good. So that could probably be done as an article that people can go and chew over and read and then dispute vehemently wherever they feel like it.
Before we were on console, Dovetail Games did have a very close control on what it could do with its releases. But Microsoft and Sony are big companies, and we have to play by their rules, and we have to work to their schedules.
So when you say that you're waiting for an American release, why would that make a difference?
Mostly because what we try to do, at Dovetail at least, is whenever there's focus on a German route coming out, so Munich Augsburg, that's on our schedule.
Yeah.
Then we will bundle up a lot of German-related improvements and fixes to other routes and trains at the same time, because we know that when people have a new route to play with, they'll want to bring in their other trains that they've already got, or bring the trains that they've just acquired and put them onto the routes they've already got.
But isn't that kicking fans of American rail twice in areas of their bathing suit area that they find uncomfortable? Not only are you not releasing anything American, you're not even fixing the American stuff.
And that is something I'm trying to understand, because really there shouldn't be, when it's something like we've had the work done and it's now sat there for a couple of weeks. It is frustrating, even from my part, because we've done the work, but it's people can't enjoy it. So
yeah, okay, all right, no, it's fair enough. So it's not an issue of it increases the patch size or anything like that if you are attacking multiple different routes or something like that.
It can do, yeah, absolutely. So if we add a full stop to a sentence in a scenario, or in some gameplay, then you could end up downloading the entire DLC again.
Right.
You could the entire route. So that's not a good idea. So there are some situations where a fix isn't big enough to justify the cost of download for users on their internet. So there are some instances where we will hold back a bunch of fixes so that it is worthwhile, and so that we're not bombarding you constantly with updates.
Yeah.
As well. So there is some planning that goes in there. It's a very complicated process.
Right, I'm going to rattle through a few quick ones in order to stop them being repeated another 57 times. Is Munich releasing on Thursday? No. Will I get rapid transit because I buy the Train Sim World disc? So would it work? Go to the forums, read the sticky post at the top of the forum for your console. It will tell you what to do. Good. What else? Do you think we'll get tram action? Not in the short term, no. What else have we got in there? There were a couple here. Definitely need more North American content, and North American content is coming. What will be new for the delivery designer? We've got hex codes for colours, so you can immediately replicate the colour. You've got mirroring, so it will do both sides of the loco without too much of a problem. There was a third. Some improved work with transparency. And earlier on today, I heard the word undo button being bandied around, but I don't think that's in the next set.
No, it's not in the next one. It's in planning.
Yeah, it's so that's kind of being planned, but I only heard that for the first time earlier on today. Are we going to add station names to the map? Eventually. That's way more complicated than it feels like, and we want to do a properly good job with it, so that's going to take a while to get to. We know that the map is ever so slightly chocolate teapot at the moment, and that station and platform names would be incredibly useful. So
we have a celebrity in the chat. We have a celebrity who's come to join us.
Which celebrity? Is it the professor?
It is.
There you go. See, yeah. There's Professor chipping in. Couldn't be bothered to be here himself. No. But there you go.
We can ask him about Rail Driver now as well.
No, we could ask him about Rail Driver. Bakerloo is too dark. No, it isn't. There you go. That's the answer to that one. According to actual drivers on the Bakerloo line, that's pretty realistic. The only thing it's missing is the sparks coming off the railhead junctions when you fly through stuff, and that's something that can be resolved quite quickly. But you've got an artist. Get them doing something sparkly with spark stuff. That'll be good. That'll go down well.
So long as it doesn't go into the direction of motion blur, and then it's like a Marmite. Either everybody has it turned on or everybody has it turned off.
I turn it on and off multiple times every time I drive, you know. The only time I turn it off is when I'm looking directly at the wheels to see if I'm wheel slipping. See?
Your head would be banging along the track at that point, surely.
It's fine. I bend reality a little in order to be able to play it more realistically in my own brains. Aren't there already spark textures? It's the spark effect. So all of the triggers are in place. It's just a case of putting the right image next to it. Motion blur is overrated. Well, actually, motion blur helps convey the sense of speed. If you're sat in the cab facing forward, it gives you a proper sense of speed. If you turn it off, because the depth of field is relatively constant, your eye is not sold on the speed of movement that you're doing. Obviously, your mileage may vary, and that's why you're able to turn it off. If you don't like it, you can turn it off. Undo button is too
there is saying that what's wrong with the 143 in Scenario Planner? I'm not aware everything's wrong. We were putting out that there are more trains that you can use with it. So the Scenario Planner has more contests, more formations to be able to use. So there's nothing wrong there, that, to my knowledge.
Not on console, though. Haha. Yes, if you plug a keyboard in, you can do it on console. I know that's a pain in the bum, but I mean, you can disable motion blur on console if you plug a keyboard in. Yeah, I know it's an imperfect solution, but actually the most limited resource we have in a developmental sense is UI engineers and artists. Nowhere near enough of them. We should get onto the boss and get another 3 or 4 so that we can, because that's what slows down extra option menus and that kind of thing. We've got a ton of stuff that we could turn on quite quickly if only someone could design the buttons in the menu to make it happen. Because it's just a case of wiring stuff up. So there you go. Yeah, there's the thing. Will there be new trophies for rapid transit?
There won't be anything new. Again, it's just making sure everything that was there previously is still there. And if it's not on the roadmap, then we're not doing anything else on it.
Okay. Why would you need 3 UI artists? It was a joke. P-Yan. There you go. Will there be an increase in passenger numbers for console? No, not at the moment. We've got addressing passengers as a big hitting kind of big project that we want to undertake at some point. It would be along the lines of Steam or multiplayer or something of that kind of scale, to go and basically take the passenger system back to 0 and then rebuild the whole thing to work more effectively. So that's a massive job. It's one we want to do, but we haven't yet prioritize which one we're doing first. Any news on Steam? I've seen that about 3 or 4 times as well. No news on Steam at the moment. It is still coming, but until you see it on the roadmap, we're not actively working on it.
Not on the roadmap.
Although I have been in a discussion or 2, so that's all good. Will there be new repaints for console?
If there's new repaints for anything, it'll be available to everyone.
Right. Okay. So it's mostly a case of the liveries that you are familiar with are the ones that you're going to get. We're not adding anything new in that sense. Let's have a quick look. Anything else going on here, or we'll move on to our next topic of discussion. Yeah.
I did see somebody say, is TS World models importable into Railworks or vice versa? No, is the really simple answer. There is huge complexity differences between Train Sim World and Train Sim 2021. So no, pretty much everything has to be rebuilt from the ground up.
So if let's say I've got a Class 66 in Train Simulator 2021, and I want to remake that in Train Sim World. what would be the process whereby I can take that model and transfer it over? Can I just whap it out into Blender or Max or Maya or something like that?
If you have the source files, so if you already built it in 3D Studio Max or something, and you're able to look at it again, then there are loads of articles out there about Unreal Engine and how you can make use of what Unreal Engine allows you to do with games. But for the most part, you'll probably find that it's easier to go back to the original pictures that you took, the reference material, and build it again. Because the amount of detail that you want to put in on the Train Sim World version versus what really was the limit in Train Sim 2021 means that you'd end up rebuilding every aspect as you went through it anyway. So the reference material is probably the only thing you can bring forward.
Oh, hold on. Tin Blue decides they're going to get lively. Selective answers and lies. Nice. If you've got a specific question there, Tin Blue, bring it on. We'll take it on. The stream's moving pretty quickly. Now, obviously, if you choose not to believe it, that's entirely on you. But the roadmap here is to demonstrate exactly what it is that we're working on. And as we've said repeatedly, if you don't see it on the roadmap, we're not actively working on it. So as time goes on, you will see stuff enter the roadmap, move through it, and then come out at the other end. And then, hopefully, you'll be able to trust in what we say, maybe just a smidge more. There you go. Yeah.
Shelby 23586 says, will there be any update so that the trains from the Preserve collection can be seen in the timetable on the Cologne-Aachen route? I think from release, the Cologne-Aachen timetable was built that when the Preserve collection becomes available, those trains will start to appear. If in the future we release more trains that would be applicable for it, then we can certainly look at that. But there are no plans to do that at the moment. But yeah, any time that we release a route, we do try and make sure that previous trains are available on it as well, if they're applicable.
There we go. Jaden's about to get blocked for spam. But before then, his question's disappeared. If only he hadn't spammed it. I was just about to answer that one. It was something about announcements. I can't see it now because it's been banned for spamming. Don't spam. It doesn't do anybody any favours. Right. Okay. Good. Right. What's next? Okay. Look. Let's move on to. So next arrival stuff. We've got the big German arrival. Is our next Preserve collection, and is that still due this week?
Again, that's not a question I can answer. I don't have.
You don't push the scheduling button.
No,
do
I
you?
don't. I want it to be as soon as possible, but all I can do is do the work.
I think Mike took the very bold decision to tell people it was going to be this week, and I mean, that's fatal. So yeah, keep your eye on your regular Train Sim World information destination to see if it moves. Yeah, I know we shouldn't do such a thing. But then I'm off on holiday on Thursday, so that's all good.
At the end of the stream.
yeah. No. So if it comes out and it goes well, great. If it comes out and it doesn't go.
I see one here, just quick. Sorry, Rob J79. GWR 4-coach HST option would be good for the scenario planner, West Somerset Railway and East Coastway. If you've got information on what that consist should be, I can look into it. I am dealing with some HST stuff at the moment. I'm not promising it because there may be technical reasons why I can't do it. But if anyone can post on the forum what a 4-coach HST would be made up of, maybe it's the castle sets that they've created in Great Western, or maybe it's the ScotRail sets. I don't know. So if someone can post that up, I can certainly have a look at it.
We've got some other stuff going on here. Will we get fully customized control mapping, like switching the horn to the A button on consoles? That's a UI issue. So this is why we need extra UI artists, is because they're the ones that wire that stuff up. So we know that people want additional control over what's mapped to what, and that counts on PC, on console, on everything. So it's something we're aware of, but it's not something in active development at the moment. But again, this is something that we can probably look at once the Preserve Collection is kind of completed. Jack is asking the question that Jaden got banned for, which is, will there be any more announcements other than the preset Great Western ones on Bakerloo so it's more realistic? No, not at the moment. Definitely not, because we don't have a proper functioning announcement system that is in any way dynamically driven. So right now it counts as ambient noise and little else. So right now there's nothing extra coming on that front. Any news on multiplayer? About half a dozen people have asked this one. Have a look at the roadmap. If it is not written on the roadmap, then it is not in active development, right? Until that point, it remains an aspiration and nothing more. And we aspire to an absolute ton of stuff. And while we shouldn't talk about it ever, we do because, you know, we want to. But yeah, there's nothing to talk about as far as multiplayer is concerned. And if it does turn up, it will probably arrive under some kind of secret code name on the roadmap, and we'll make it so you can decipher what it means. Maybe, no idea.
I saw someone talking about, will the livery designer, will the Preserve Collection stock appear in the livery designer? Yep, we have hired a member of staff specifically to start working on that. Actually, potentially, we could do something here. Maybe Sam can create a forum thread or something. But I'm actually interested in which trains people really want first. I've got an idea about which trains I think we should do first. But yeah, I'm interested in maybe a vote or something.
Are you insane?
I'll take your lead on that.
Why would you just dangle that out there? Why, Adam? Why would you dangle that? You've just committed to it.
Well, I've committed you to it. If you can...
No, you've committed to me making a forum thread. I can do that in 30 seconds. You're the one who's then going to have to follow through and do the work.
Well, I've got somebody specifically to do it. So if they have an idea of the order,
no. Look, you've just said you can do it. You followed up by saying that you've got it to do it and all of that. And fine. No. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, you could
because there's an awful lot of trains, so it is going to take us a while to get the Preserve Collection into the livery design.
No.
There's a priority list. We'll work with that.
No, you didn't say that before. No, you're just making it up now.
No. I can make the ones people are interested in first.
That's all of them. You clown. It's all of them.
All of them.
Yeah, no, you can't. Look, if you say like, yeah, we're going to do a little bit of this, if you're interested enough, they all go, I'm interested enough. We'll set up the thread to prioritize when Adam's ready to start working on such things and not beforehand.
Yes, the guy at the moment is training. He's in training at the moment.
Right. And then when when that happens, what we'll do is we'll roadmap it so you'll see which ones are being updated and you can follow their progress as they come through.
And the other thing I will mention is we will not be biased. So I'm looking to do at least one UK, one US and one German together.
Yeah.
So we will not put one out, I don't think, and then be months before we put the next one out. We will make sure everybody gets a fair insight.
Right. Good. Right. Okay. Right. Fine. Are the S-Bahn services coming to Köln-Aachen this week in the Preserve Collection? That's a question for the professor, isn't it?
Well, MSB's coming out, Rapid Transit's coming out. I think MSB stopped.
That's the works then. That's everything.
Yeah.
That's us all Germaned up. And when Matt was speaking about...
there will be one other German route. Rhine-Route Osten has not been released yet, to my knowledge.
Has it not? You sure?
No, I think it got switched with another route.
S-Bahn comes with Rhine-Route Osten. Thank you, Matt.
Yes.
So that's a no. No is the answer to that. So no S-Bahn yet.
I was thinking that Rhine-Route Osten is still on my list. So.
Okay. All right. Good. I get them confused, you see. Rosignord and Rhine-Route Osten, in my brain, they just kind of mash together and I kind of say
and then there's Hapstrick Rhine-Ruhr as well. So there's three of them.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Fine. See, look, they already know. Everybody in the chat already knows which one is bringing the S-Bahn. So that's fine. Hold on. MSB will give us Dostos and Freight on Colin Arkin.
There you go.
There you go. From the professor. He's used the red telephone to get in touch.
They can do what they like with it. So yeah.
Right. Okay. Will we get fully customized control mapping like switching the horn to the... I already answered that question, Injun. I already answered it.
Deja vu.
You can ask the question as many times as you like, but if you're not going to listen to the answer, why are we even here? I mean, cosmically. Will the turntables be usable? Which turntables? Because the one on Sandpatch already is.
The one on West Somerset, in the Scenario Designer, no. The current functionality of the Scenario Designer will not work with the turntable. Trains going in circles on the spot scares train dispatchers quite a bit. So not currently.
Who cares? They're just dispatchers. So is that something you could add later on? Or is the level of terror real there, and you don't want to mess with that unless you absolutely have to?
So it'll be an investigation. If we want it, we investigate it. If it's then something that is massively game stopping, then it'll be pitched to the main development team.
Right.
And if they say, no, you've got to be joking, then it's a no. If they say, that would be a good idea, then it stays under investigation. But it then becomes part of the main development of the software.
How do you intend to tackle, it's an interesting question, how do you intend to tackle the Shard and Wembley scenery on console? Because at the moment...
the wrong draw distance was set, wasn't it? So
yeah.
It got switched off, yeah. So it's quite simple, actually.
But won't that have an impact in terms of performance on console? Because we know that some of the non... turbo-powered console owners are reporting that, Bakerloo particularly has got some sections that don't run as smoothly as would be liked.
Well, I think we should prioritise landmarks. So if there is other generic scenery that can be knocked off or switched off in the vicinity, then we would prioritise that. We want the landmarks on view because I think that really improves the experience.
Well, you've gone to the effort of making them. Matt wants to
about.
Chip in on this one as well. He's currently writing an essay or something. Right, good. Let's. What do we got to? When is the free stuff coming for Train Sim 2021? You must be confusing us with some other company that gives stuff away for free. Hold on, there we go. So Matt said the distant scenery gets moved to a persistent tile, which is always loaded, so that huge items like that are always visible, and they're modelled so that they don't cause performance issues.
There you go. The artists are cleverer than we give them credit for.
Well, there you go. And that they're not appearing at the moment is just a bit of general wonkiness. In which case, that should be an easy fix, right? Right?
I would expect it to be. But
right.
If I'm not the person doing it, I could not possibly commit.
It falls under your remit there, Sunshine. That's now preserved. It's out. Put it on your action item list. Go on.
My team can definitely investigate.
Sounds like a quick win, if you ask me. That if it's just a case of changing a 0 to a 1, make it happen. It'll only be a 12 to 15 gig download to switch that on.
Fire up Notepad.
Yeah, no, great. Right, that's that settled. But obviously, until you see it on the roadmap, it's not a thing that's happening. But there you go. Jed, where are we going next? Route extensions. We've covered route extensions about 2,500 times. Are they possible? Yes. Are we doing any? No. There we go. For the basic reason that we're not doing them is we've got a ton of places that we want to explore before we start revisiting places that we've already been to. And if we're doing a route extension, then it will only be, we have a choice of either combining it with a route that we've already done so that they marry up perfectly so that you can have services crossing between the two parts of the route, or you have them working in isolation. Either way, there's a complicated ownership system that needs to go into play there as well. And we're a long way from doing that just yet. So is it technically possible? Yes. Are there plans to do so? Not right now. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Bobby says, will the 182 have Dosto support in the Scenario Planet? Yes, but it won't be under the 182. It'll actually be under the 767 carriages. So look out for those. there'll be 2 entries, depending on which train leads.
Here's go on from Nick. We're going random now, apparently. Well, in fact, more random than we have been doing already. Will the new routes support immersive controller layout for scenarios and timetable?
New as in the preserved collection version?
Let's
as in anything beyond what I actually...
Anything beyond, obviously, we'll do, because immersive is now the default control system that we use. But what about preserved stuff?
At the moment, it's going to come out set up for the classic controls. Once everything is available again, we will then reconsider that and see what people's take is.
So you can't switch to use immersive at all on the old stuff.
We can, but we don't want to, because people are used to playing the game as they were already, and we don't want to just suddenly change the playing field. So things will come out as they worked previously, and then we'll look at that.
Valentin has asked this one a couple of times. I'm going to answer it straight away. Are we in contact with Skyhook Games? Because I'm really looking forward to BR187. Yes, we are. Good. Right, there we are. That's that one dealt with. Yeah, no, good. Why isn't AWS fully functioning like in TS 2021? That's not one I've seen mentioned. Which is it?
Should be more functioning. We do a lot more in TS World and TS World 2.
Yeah, you might need to go into a little bit more depth than that, Mike. Maybe stick it over on the forums and we'll take a look into it. But I'm unaware of AWS not doing what it's supposed to. Although I have seen some feedback already. Oh, hold on, we've got some more information on immersive controls from Matt that I'll deal with in a moment. What was I talking about? AWS. We've had a couple of reports that the fixes mentioned in the releases on the roadmap, some of them we've still got some HUD markers not clearing as they should be. So that is some AWS or safety feature indicators that are not clearing. And someone else said that the baby bullet was still hanging red when it should have been cleared as well. Please get your feedback over on the forums. I know I keep driving into the forums, but it is so much a better place to get that information than during a live stream in chat. Basically, anything you type here, I've forgotten it the second I've read it out. So go stick it on the forum and you've got a fighting chance that we actually pay attention to it. Hey, look, I'm being honest, at least. Matt
I've got
says,
a few here myself before you jump in. Longer HSTs on console when the Preserved Collection comes out. That is a no. Again, the first priority is just to make the Great Western Express available exactly as it is for now, and then we can look at that stuff in the future, but there's no plans to change anything on that front. And the other one I have is, has the FIS system been activated on the Talent 2 that comes with Rapid Transit? Again, that is a no. We're merely taking the Talent 2 as it is right now on Rapid Transit and re-releasing that. However, part of the Preserve Cruise remit is to take functionality that has become available and potentially put it back on older stock. So that is on that list of that's something we want to do in the future, but there are no plans to do it at the moment.
Okay, David asks, why is there no third-party content for Train Sim World after almost 2 years? You kind of go, well, if you go, well, firstly, wait, I've got a cleverer answer than that, Adam.
No,
Cleverer.
go on.
If you go back a year, you could still say there is there is very little third-party content. And now we've got the BR204. We've also, on the roadmap, we've got the Isle of Wight coming along, which is being developed by Rivet. Now, I know some of you are going to say, yeah, but that's Rivet, and they're all ex-Dovetail. And you kind of go, yeah, quite a few of them are. But you know what?
Are, but they have been growing quite rapidly. They're a really thriving company. So I'd keep watching out for them. It's not just Dovetail staff anymore.
They are still their own beast, though. They are in control of their own destiny. They are not a tail that we wag. And then Skyhook are working on some stuff for us as well. So no, there's not a massive amount of third-party stuff. But we're growing in that in that area, and the reason there's not more is because we work multi-platform, and whereas Train Sim 2021 and its predecessors, they're the Wild West More or less anybody can sling together any old piece of anything they like and just fling it out. They can sell it on Steam, not on Steam. They can sell it on their own, e-commerce site that they've got going on. They could give codes away through Twitter or whatever. It's the Wild West. You could just fling it out as you felt like it. Because we have everything working on console, it means that it needs to be properly QA'd to ensure that it's not going to make somebody's PlayStation melt down. Not that PlayStation's ever melt down. It's an entirely reliable piece of Japanese technology and is a thoroughly marvellous piece of kit, as is the Xbox, a thoroughly marvellous piece of kit and an entirely reliable piece of, I assume, American technology. I'm not entirely sure if it's developed elsewhere. The point remains, however, that it does need to be cleared through multiple areas. And one of the things that we provide to third parties is we'll do that for you. Yes, it will cost you a minor cut of the proceeds, but that's what it will take. And now, over time, as Train Sim World becomes more appealing to third parties, we'll have more turn up. But while it is still growing its kind of baseline going on there, then people will move in when they think it's right for them to do so. It is not easy to work with. In fact, it is complicated to work with, but what can be achieved out the other end is really quite spectacular. So there you go. That's the answer. That is the answer, and the answer is that. But we've got contacts with tons of third-party teams who are certainly interested and certainly trying stuff out. There it is. Good.
Rob J79 says we can get longer HSTs via the Journey mode on console. Also, you'll be able to use when Great Western Express comes back to TS World 2, you'll be able to use the Scenario Designer because the same HSTs will be available as they are on PC. So you can use the Scenario Designer to create your own gameplay.
Yeah, the other one I saw a moment ago, will we get better performance on console as far as frame rates are concerned? We're constantly making things more efficiently over time. So the way that the relationship will work is that as the core team work to evolve how things are put together and how they work in an efficiency basis, Adam's team will then look at, can that be retrofit to what we've got out already without it being 6 months worth of work to do one route? And if it can be retrofit, then it will be. But optimization is something that we constantly work on. Go and watch Matt talking about trees, and then when you wake up again, you may vaguely remember that part of the work that he's done is in making trees both look more vibrant and have a much lower performance footprint than they had before.
We joke about the trees, but Matt does an awful lot across the software. So yes, most updates, most releases of routes and trains come with some optimizations here and there across the software every single time.
Yeah. So optimization is constantly happening. Will you add... Okay, your question keeps being ignored. Will you ever add more London Underground trains?
If it's not on the roadmap.
Until you see it on the roadmap, it's not happening. Right, there's that. Matt has thrown in a little something about immersive controls.
Cool.
Immersive controls work on old stock only in service mode. There you go.
Yeah, some aspects we have to force because the software expects a certain button to be pressed. So that will be the case on release. However, like I said, we are interested in making more use of immersion. So once everything's out, we will then re-look at that and can we convert stuff over.
Someone's asking about improvements to the scenario designer. Scenario planner, livery designer. And at no point do we invoke the E word because it gets people very, very excited very, very quickly. Improve as the scenario planner. Do I have any information on that? Do you have any information on that? This sounds like a Matt thing.
There are livery designer improvements going through.
No. We're talking about scenario planner. Planner.
I was saying, as we're doing updates to that, I'm sure there'll be updates to the scenario side as well. This was only our first iteration.
That was quite vague. I was hoping for a little bit more than that, but that's okay. We'll find out basically what the kind of the next steps for scenario planner upgrades being doing. But I mean, basically, you can. Oh, hold it. There you go. See, I've provoked Matt from his cave again. He's going to go like, I'm not doing any of it. I don't want to. I'll let you know what he actually says when he's finished typing. Will there be any special updates for Halloween or Christmas? No, we've got nothing planned, have we? Yeah, we'd love to do seasonal stuff. Seasonal stuff would be great fun to do. Oh, I see my my video in the background has gone back to the beginning again after I successfully completed the challenge there. Stopped perfectly at every station. That's what happens when I'm not chatting. Yeah, we'd love to do seasonal stuff. We'd love to be able to drop in extra bits and pieces, just, you know, even if it's just in an Easter egg fashion. Or what I said before was we should change the posters in the underground stations. And
I really like that idea.
And the front page of the newspapers and all of that kind of stuff, so that people who want to go out and hunt for Easter eggs can go find them. But we don't have the time. Not at the moment. Well,
also, it comes back to the download bandwidth again.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah. Do you want to re-download your routes and trains that are gigabytes and gigabytes of data just to get some Halloween posters?
Oh, you'd have to create a standalone system where the posters aren't part of the route and all of that kind of business.
And then we've got to queue it up with Microsoft and Sony, and it all gets complicated again.
And then I'll be able to advertise my YouTube channel within the game. Right? Okay. I'll find a way to insert stuff in there. I know who to bribe. Matt was saying that we've got, as far as the scenario planner is concerned, we do have a big list of things that we want to add. Plus, they're constantly...
We want to add, or we are adding?
Wait, I haven't finished. I haven't finished. Plus, they're reading your feedback on a regular basis. But there is nothing in planning at the current time. As ever, it's not on the roadmap. It's not doing anything. Yeah, there you go. Right. Okay. Right. We've got time for probably another 3 or 4 questions, I would have thought, and then we'll call that it, and we'll go
I saw someone asking about, will we get 6-car 166s on Great Western Express? That is correct. You will. There will be double unit consists to be able to pick in the scenario planner.
Graham asks, is there any chance of Train Sim World 2 going down to the southwest of England towards Plymouth, and therefore, as ever, if you've got a suggestion for a route, go stick it on the suggestions for him. But until you see it on the roadmap, there is nothing happening with that regard. As far as could we? Yeah, absolutely. We could build absolutely anywhere we like. We could build a flipping route on Mars if we felt like it. We don't feel like it at the moment, and obviously it's not on the roadmap. So the Martian route currently not in planning. When will München to Augsburg be properly announced? When it's ready. That's when it will be announced. It will be announced when we're ready to announce it. Until then, it's just allowing you to track its progress. We won't be giving hints or anything along those lines, because until it's properly... You'll know when it's happening, because there'll be all kinds of glamorous videos moving at 9,000 frames a second in full high definition, dynamic range, the works, 8K, all of that kind of business. The fact that it took 7 days to record 30 seconds of video means nothing. But yeah, we'll talk about stuff when it's in the pipeline, ready to be released. Before then, however, that's not our department. Yeah, no, they're good. How long?
The shuttle there. Amarillion, I am a massive Eurotunnel fan. That is a huge part of my interest. If you know anyone that's interested in the shuttle, just as an enthusiast, point them in my direction. Just a random insert there.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, that's nice. How long does a brand new route take from start to finish? Completely
months and months and months.
Months and months and months and months.
Are we talking every individual person's hours here, or as the team? It probably goes into years if you put the time end to end.
No, yeah, I don't think you work it in man hours. I think it's more a case of, when the team kicks off, then what are we? We are talking about 6 months plus for most routes. when you...
we've had some routes that are 9 months, we've had some routes that are 18 months, we've had some routes that are 3 months. So it depends on the complexity.
The majority of them fall in the 6-month kind of range.
Yeah.
When you factor in kind of research time and planning it out and all of that kind of business.
Yeah. And it's no small team either. You're talking tens and tens of people.
Tens and tens. Yeah. So 20.
Is it maybe 55, 60? No,
okay.
That might be too many. About 50, in region of 50 people, I reckon, are involved.
Okay, all right, smashing. Yeah. Why isn't Preserved Collection coming to Livery Designer not even on the roadmap, even though it's talked about on the stream? Because this is the first time he flipping talked about it. Right? We have regular catch-ups, do Adam and I, where we go through. So, Adam, what's going into the roadmap that's new? Because Adam gets to drive the roadmap, and then I make it sound palatable. And
I'm very, very technical.
Yeah, I try and put that into some form of English. But no, our last catch-up was Monday, or, hold on, yesterday. And no, he decided no, he wasn't going to mention that Preserved Collection livery stuff was something he was going to work on. But he's not working on it yet. That's the important thing. So later on, yeah, there's a fighting chance that once he starts working on it, we'll bang it on the roadmap. But don't spring stuff like this at me on stream, for crying out loud. You're going to turn me grey. Because at the moment...
Turn you grey?
Yeah. This is blonde. Shut up. Right, okay. Will the BR182 be able to use LZB on Colne Aachen?
That's probably one for Matt, actually. I would probably say no.
That's going to need an upgrade.
It may be something we add in the future, but that's a Matt question.
Yeah, I don't... It's not even... Oh, hold on. No, he's already answered it. Look, a few people answer. Things are coming across as is. Now, I mean, you will recall, or you may not, but as a reminder, the original plan for Preserved Collection is that it would function in Train Sim World 2. We have since moved our position on that, and we're going to make it function as well as can be in Train Sim World 2. But sometimes that will mean there are shortcomings. And obviously in Train Sim World 2020, there was no LZB. So the stuff that's coming across, they don't have the LZB stuff, the functionality built in. So that would mean we'd have to spend time building that in, and there's extra stuff to do on it. And we need to pick our battles. With Adam with his elite team of 3, including himself. All right, 2 elite members and Adam. There is only a finite amount they can do. So we'll pick the stuff that will affect or impact or improve things for the most people possible, as well as tackling as many kind of quick hits as we can get to. What's your team capacity? So where are you recruiting up to?
I believe it's going to be 4 full-time.
Yeah.
And then any contractors that I can get involved as well.
Right. Okay.
Some things are very specialised and we can't hire full-time for it. So we contract some work out intentionally at other things, like the livery designer and compatibility with the preserved stock.
Gotcha.
We hire full-time for.
Okay.
And just to plug as well, that Dovetail Games is always hiring. Please do, if you're interested in getting into the games industry or working on Train Sim World 2 or Train Sim 2021, we have loads of vacancies available on Dovetail Games.
If you've done a bit of modding in the past, you never know, you might actually be qualified. A bit of casual modding is a great way to get started in game development because, especially if you love it, you'll just follow it down the rabbit hole and get better and better and better as you go.
I got into the games industry because I felt that I could improve things and I could contribute. So don't believe that if you haven't got a qualification, you can't get involved. You can apply. Let's have that discussion and see where it goes. Don't ever think you can't achieve something.
We've got some good questions going on here. So here's a good one. Any plans to incorporate the Steam Workshop? How's it going to work on Xbox?
Exactly.
Write your answer on a postcard and get back to me. And PlayStation. Has to work on both Xbox and PlayStation. So when you've got the answer to that, let me know. No release date for this upcoming Preserved Collection. Thursday, the next set of Preserved Collection is Thursday, unless it isn't Thursday, in which case we'll let you know probably on Thursday.
I do believe and I will get shot if it is wrong, but I do believe those people on Xbox that said they haven't got the latest East Coastway update, I believe that is Thursday, so that is coming on Thursday.
You think that's actually built in as well?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Yep, no, good. What else have we got going on here? Do we have a legal team? Yes. We do.
All of our brands are fully 100% licensed.
We work with a lot of licensing, but that doesn't mean we're not hired. Patrick, if you want to come and be a lawyer working on Train Simulator, someone must be, then keep your eye on the recruiting place, and that'll be good. Someone else had a question about the option to turn stuff on and off. There we go. It's a good one. Can there be a master setting that turns all safety systems on by default? You know what that needs? Needs a UI artist.
Yes, I was going to say. We love those things.
Yeah.
I want one of those things, but we haven't got the person to do it.
When we want to stick a new item in the settings menu, that requires UI artist time. That's what I mean when we say we need a bunch of UI artists, because their time is incredibly limited.
If you're a UI artist, please apply.
Yeah, 2D artist with a bit of front-end experience. Even better if you've got some UX experience as well. Get in touch. We love those guys. Yeah, absolutely. Xbox Add-Ons conflict fix coming. Yes, I think it's even on the list.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I've definitely seen it. I'm pretty sure I wrote it somewhere, but that is definitely inbound. I'm pretty sure it's on the roadmap list already. There we go. It's in production right now. For those of you unaware, installing Thing A on Train Sim World 2 on Xbox will uninstall it from Train Sim World 2020. And so you kind of go, oh, flipping it. You put it back on Train Sim World 2020, it then removes it from Train Sim World 2.
Oh, the complications.
Yeah, what a brilliant player experience that one is. The fix is coming for that. It wasn't deliberate, but it's proved to be slightly more complicated than just saying stop it to make it happen.
In all honesty, it could have come from somebody thinking, well, if you're installing it on one, you clearly don't want it on the other.
Don't say that. That makes it sound deliberate. Making it sound deliberate is better than accident.
Terribly wrong. So.
Is Isle of Wight coming on Thursday as well? No, Isle of Wight is not in Preserved Collection. It's a brand new add-on. Someone's going, it's only 6.9 miles. So, it's as long as it needs to be. And
it is the full route.
It's the whole thing. And it comes down to the quality of game that you get with it. And it either is good enough for you or it isn't good enough for you. And if it isn't good enough for you, don't buy it.
I saw, is it the Lonia 16, apologies the name there, do you hire full-time remote workers on other continents? I would say apply and let's have that conversation.
Yeah, we're more flexible than we've ever been on that front. I've been a full-time remote worker since March.
Thank God.
Yeah, I know. I'm holding it all together remotely from my battle bunker. Yeah, there you go. What's happening to the beauty of the 313? It moved up. Wow. The 313 has moved forward. So there you go. It's getting closer.
But it's not part of Preserved, so it's not part of this stream.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Could Steam Workshop creators submit creations to DTG for vetting? That's a longer conversation. But we are having longer conversations with the team who look after third-party studios at the moment to talk about. There are some skilled modders out there. There are some skilled people that just do reskins or just build models, and the models are tremendous. Is there no way we can work with these people? Because but here's the thing: how do you think micro studios got started? You find one kind of programming type person, you find a modeler, you find someone who's a bit of an artist, and you find someone who can, string a sentence together in an email. All of a sudden, you're a micro studio. This is how they get started in the first place. So if you've already done some bits and pieces for Train Simulator, get in touch, have a conversation. Yeah. The worst that can happen is nothing.
Yeah.
But you never know. It might be an opportunity for you to get stuck in and maybe, build up a micro studio that does something that's kind of cool. Yeah. People that do reskins are technically texture artists. Well, yes, they are when they consider themselves professionals. Modders, however, I do a bit of reskinning. But, you know, and some of them do it to a standard that you kind of go, yes, you are a texture artist. So, you know, start looking for jobs.
I'm just saying again, sorry, Rob J79, he's asking some really good questions this evening. Is MSP dropping with the Rivet add-on, the BR204? No. MSP will come out, but the 204 is still on a list to be released.
Yeah, the 204 is will be what Rivet pay attention to once Isle of Wight is out.
Yeah, they're a bit busy, yeah.
Yeah, they've got a lot going on at the moment, so the 204 is kind of in a holding pattern right now. They are going to be working it back into the mix as soon as Isle of Wight's done. But there's no fixed timeline for any of this stuff. It's why the roadmap is quite vague. It kind of gives you the state of where something is, rather than it's only X amount of time from here on, because our timelines move around really quite frequently. But what we shouldn't see is anything moving backwards. Chances are it might move out. Oh, you might see something move from upcoming back into into production if we decide it needs a lot more work done to it. But we haven't seen it yet, but we will do at some point, I'm sure. Yep. Right. Can we take on someone to develop more scenarios? If someone were to apply for a job, then someone would possibly have a fighting chance of getting some.
Absolutely. Where do you think all of our designers come from if they don't apply?
Yeah. And an awful lot of the design team that we've got came from the community in the first place. So
yeah, and actually, given the whole UK issue with COVID at the moment, there's an awful lot more flexibility with people working from home.
Good. Right. That's going to wrap it up for this time. If we didn't get to your question, watch the rest of the stream. If you turned up late, go and watch the rest of it, because there's a pretty good chance we did get you to your question, maybe 2 or 3 times. If we still didn't get to it, head over to the forums, post it up on there, and if we can get you an answer, we will get you an answer. Tomorrow is Workshop Wednesday, where Matt and Jamie will gaze into the abyss. That is the Steam Workshop, from whence they will haul a treasure or two to go and explore, tinker with, go and all of that kind of business. Preserve collection, hopefully Thursday. I've not heard it's not coming on Thursday, so sure, say Thursday because I won't be here. So there you go. You can run it on your own volition there. Look after that one. That'll be Natalie in the firing line for that. That'd be good. Anyway, we'll catch up with you next time. Keep your eye on the skies for fresh information, and we'll have it when we've got it. Yeah, good. All right, Adam. Give them some kind of cheerio, kind of farewell greeting. Your message to the people. Go.
Have a great day, guys and girls, and everybody out there. I hope you're all enjoying the routes and trains that are in Train Sim World 2.
Yeah, all right. Don't milk it.
And we will see you in 2 weeks' time.
Okay, splendid. All right, thanks for watching. Cheerio.